It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, August 24th. So today the moon is in Cancer, but we will be going void, of course, around 5:41 a.m. and we'll be locking into Leo energy 9:10 a.m. This is kind of an interesting dynamic, seeing as we just moved out of Leo season. We're just fresh into Virgo season. The moon in Leo is going to give us a little bit of a refresher, a reminder, if you will, of the zest, the spark, the fire, the flames that got ignited in us in Leo season, where it is that we have to be, again, reminded to be bold, to be brave, to be courageous enough to go after what it is that our heart and soul actually desire. And it is just going to give us a little bit of a zap with that fire energy to perk us up a little bit, to give us a little bit of life force energy back, which many of us haven't had since all of the energy came into the cosmos last week, really activating a lot of light codes. Many of us down in the dumps, having a hard time with our physical energy. Of course, the moon in Cancer did not help with that. It was like trying to run underwater for the last couple of days. The moon in Leo is going to give us a little bit of a pep, a little bit of a perk, a little bit of a zap, if you will, in our emotions and in our physical realm. Today, we also have Uranus going retrograde. If you haven't listened to that astro forecast, I'm going to recommend you do so. Now, this is an outer planet, so we don't get the jolt that we normally get when inner planets such as Mercury or Mars or Venus go retrograde. It's going to be a little bit more subtle, but keep a lookout for your nervous system. Again, Uranian energy, a lightning bolt, just affecting the central nervous system can create a lot of anxiety, jitteriness, restlessness. There's going to be a lot of activations in the crown. Again, if you haven't listened to this week's ascension forecast, go ahead and do so that you know the physical symptoms and ailments that we can kind of expect with a lot of these astro energy shifts. It's all there for you. There should be no surprises. If you are feeling a little bit more of the physical ailments this week, take a listen to why this is happening. Again, we're under the influence of a very, very busy astrological and energetic week, and our physical bodies are going to feel the brunt of that. This is also the last day of Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, and how it is that we express ourselves in its place of power in Virgo energy. We are preparing to move into Libra energy here very shortly. If you haven't listened to that astro forecast, go ahead and do so. We got a lot on the go. And as you know, anytime we are preparing to move out of one energy and shift into the other, we reach that critical degree where we got to wrap up the particular life lesson of that energy cycle. If you need to listen to what Mercury being in Virgo was all about for the last couple of weeks, go ahead and do so, because we are making a very dramatic shift as we move into that Libran energy. This is also going to add to the pressure in our mental planes here today. Again, Mercury, ruler of the lower level intellect, Uranus, the ruler of the higher level intellect. A lot of crown pressure, a lot of head space pressure, a lot of thoughts, a lot of competing thoughts, conflicting thoughts, a lot of windows popping open in our crown, in our head space, a lot of mental processing going on. And of course, we will likely be feeling that tension, that pressure, that intensity in our physical head space. So again, check out the ascension symptoms for this week, for this particular point in the week with these energy shifts, and just kind of give yourself a little bit of reassurance that all is well. You're just aligned with the energy. So we have 9 different aspects here today, and 6 of them are going to involve the moon. So right out of the gate, we have a little bit of a tension point because the moon in Cancer is going to be sitting directly across from Pluto, the great transformer, who is retrograde in Capricorn energy. The Cancer and Capricorn axis is opposite to one another, Cancer being the mother energy, while Capricorn being the father energy. The mother energy is emotional, intuitive, wants to take care and nurture everything back to a state of health and wellness and stability, while the Capricorn energy wants that same kind of safety and security and stability, but outside of the home and the family dynamic, more connected to the career, to the roles and responsibility, and to our karmic patterns. Because this is an opposition, we are going to feel emotionally heavy, emotionally weighted. We do have to sit in the funk and recognize where it is that some dark thoughts, some dark feelings are coming up for us to feel uncomfortable, to recognize where change and transformation is needed the most. Keep in mind, we are building towards the new moon in Virgo on the weekend, which means that the less light we see in the night sky from the moon, the more darkness, the more shadow work we are going to have to sit in. We have to be kind of aware that Pluto, who rules over the underworld, who kind of triggers the shadow work, isn't meant to kind of terrorize us and put us in a state of paralysis with the memories, with the heaviness, with the weight of the pain, the trauma, the suffering, the fear, and instead act as an inspiration, a motivation, and a catalyst for us to do better, for us to boss up, for us to actually step into our power. Does it feel good? No. Is it necessary? Yes. It is up to us to recognize where it is that past patterns and behaviors and thoughts and ideas and memories and emotions aren't meant to continue to drag us back into those past situations that we tried so hard to escape from, but to learn from them, to strengthen ourselves from them, and of course, to step in our power and take more control over our lives. The moon is going to sextile with Mercury. So here is a beautiful, beautiful alignment between the heart, between the head. We have this moon aspect. This is the last aspect that the moon in Cancer will make before going void with Mercury, who, as you know, is about to move into Libran energy. Mercury, being at the final degrees of Virgo, is really trying to heal the understanding, the perspective going on in the mental plane, trying to really sort out the details of our thoughts, our inner narratives, the details of our lives. And this being a sextile means that our heart and our head are getting on the same page. We're in agreement of where new structures, new foundations need to be built in our lives in order for us to make us feel safe and secure and a little bit more stable than what it is that we've been currently experiencing. This particular interaction is going to be a positive energy for us to feel like we're on the right track. But then again, the moon goes void. And anytime that the moon goes void, it means that things get a little bit shaky. We get to be kind of insecure and a little bit doubtful of our direction, of our thoughts, of our emotion. And, at 5:41, the moon goes void. Here's the thing, though. 6:38 a.m., here's where Uranus goes retrograde. So the moon is going to be void. We're already a little bit insecure, a little bit shaky, probably having a lot of zaps of anxiety at this point. And then Uranus goes retrograde. We are going to feel this in our mental plane. Again, keep very, very close eye on your energy, where anxiety and anticipation, restlessness, where they pop up, because the moon, while void right after the Uranus energy goes retrograde, the moon is going to bump into the true node. Now, luckily for us, it is in a positive manner, which means that, we're not going to go cray-cray. We're not going to be overwhelmed with confusion. But what we are doing is, now that, we have all those heavy hitting planets in a retrograde taking us on an inner journey of having to reorganize, restructure, and recalibrate our inner realm, suddenly something clicks, something pops off. That true node is our destiny's point. It's where we need to get on the right path in order to be on the mission for us to actually reach our next chapter, our next level, our next goal. So the moon in Cancer, very emotional, very intuitive, especially on what it is that we need to start nourishing and nurturing within ourselves, within our lives. We have an aha moment on what that may mean, on taking a step forward in the path of the mission, of the purpose that we're now being activated to pursue. And we know what it is that we need to do to take care of ourselves. The moon will be locking in to this Leo energy at 9:10. We don't have anything going on until 11 a.m. The moon, now in Leo energy, is going to make a very positive interaction with Uranus, who just went retrograde. Again, this is a positive interaction. This means that suddenly we are open-minded. There are things popping off. Keep in mind that the moon in Leo is reminding us of where it is that we need to be bold and brave and courageous to go after what it is that we're now being inspired to pursue. This is a heart activation. This is a crown activation. We are having aha moments, new ideas, new inspirations being downloaded in the crown, in our heart space, really revving us up in all the right ways and bringing that fire energy back to push us forward. Many of us kind of dropped off the pursuit of happiness, if you will, over the last couple of days with the moon in Cancer. We didn't really push forward. We were kind of looking back. We were introverted. We were just kind of gripping to what is old, tried, tested, true, and familiar. Not with the moon in Leo. We are activated. We are reminded, refreshed, renewed in our spirit, in our mind space, in our heart space, on what it is that we need to be excited about, what it is that we need to be passionate about, especially with taking action in our lives to chase this new dream, this new vision. The moon will interact with the sun in a way that would suggest that there is going to be something happening in our outside realm that we don't have control over, that will shine a very bright light on what it is that we got to do to get down to the nitty gritty. Again, the sun is in Virgo, focusing in on our physical realms, what needs to be reorganized, what needs to be restructured, what needs to be cleaned up in order to provide us with a clean slate, a clean foundation for us to go ahead and start pursuing things of the heart. The moon being in Leo, again, we're all fired up. We're thinking big. We're thinking grand. We're ready to just take action. This particular interaction, though, would likely suggest where it is that we're feeling blocked, where it is that emotionally we want to charge forward, but in our physical circumstances, we don't know what that means. We don't know what we should be pouring our energy into. We don't know what it is that we're supposed to be doing right now. So there is this kind of push and pull, this stop and go action that we've been in this adjustment period, because emotionally we're fired up and ready to start new and ready to pursue a brand new path, while the sun in Virgo energy wants us to slow down, to think very carefully, very logically, very practically on how we're going to actually use our physical and emotional energy to build solid foundations. We do not want to just go out in the world, take action for the sake of taking action. We have to be calculated and strategic in what it is that we are going to actually roll up our sleeves in our physical lives, in our physical realms, and take action on. Venus is going to trine, which is a beautiful energy, with Chiron. Keep in mind, Venus is in Leo energy. Chiron is retrograde in Aries energy. That's fire on fire. This gives us a beautiful window of opportunity to really do some deep-seated healing in our relationships. Why? Because we're opening up. We're willing to learn from ourselves, from one another. We're kind of raw. We're very vulnerable. That Leo energy gets us in touch with our heart space. We are raw. We are authentic. Venus, really trying to get in touch with what it is that makes her happy, brings her a certain amount of pleasure and joy in life, really is a little bit more raw, more open, more vulnerable than we've been. And this is a time where we can have the heart-to-heart conversations and connections that we need to have to smooth things over in certain relationships that might have taken a hit. This is a beautiful time to recognize the beauty, the potential in the world around us, in the people that we surround ourselves with. This is really going to, I'm going to say, help us reevaluate the people in our lives, the worth, the value that we see in them, the happiness, the joy, the pleasure that they bring into our lives, or illuminate where they're not doing that so much, and maybe we have to cut the cord with them altogether. Overall, this is a beautiful aspect, so we should be healing more than we are creating more wounds, but we do really crave that connection, that intimate connection with the close-knitted, open-hearted people that we're really looking to get on the same page with. The sun will then interact with Jupiter in a very positive way. The sun in Virgo, Jupiter retrograde in Aries. This particular energy is going to show us a little bit more on where we need to be strong, where we need to be more disciplined in our growth, in the actions that we're going to take in order to be better. This is also a good time to kind of recognize where it is that we are maybe casting a little bit more criticism or judgment on ourselves, and where it is that maybe we shouldn't be so harsh, maybe where it is that we need to be a little bit more optimistic, more confident about our abilities, about our potential, about our value, and about our worth. This is definitely going to illuminate for us some big thoughts, some big feelings. We have Jupiter just magnifying whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And Jupiter wants us to grow. He wants us to improve. He wants us to open our minds up to the possibilities of the future. The sun in Virgo has a hard time dreaming a bigger dream because we are so focused on the smaller details of the here and now. So the sun is shining a bright light on what it is that we can be doing in the here and now in order to align with the greater, grander, bigger vision, dream, and picture that Jupiter wants us to kind of move into la la land and remind ourselves what it is that we're excited to actually manifest and actually pursue. We're going to wrap the day up with the moon in Leo, sextiling, which is a beautiful energy, with Mars, who is in Gemini energy. So here's the thing. Mars rules over our physical energy, our drive, our action, our passion, our desire, even our anger. This is a positive interaction, so we're going to keep on the pros of this particular energy. But Mars being in Gemini means that we got a lot going on in the mental plane. We got a lot coming out of our mouths. And we, with this moon energy now in Leo, creating a boldness and a bravery, a little bit of a refresh and a reminder of what we got kind of cracked open and exposed to us as far as new happiness, new joy, new passions, new desires in Leo season. Now the wheels are a-turning. Mars being in this Gemini energy is the warrior of the mental plane. We are actively and aggressively pursuing new ideas, new inspirations. We are motivating ourselves. We are kind of, renewing our willpower, if you will, on what it is that we actually want to pursue in life. This is a great energy because, of course, fire and air work very well when balanced to have that flame, that spark, that fire in our heart space at a constant controlled level. And if we add too much thought into it, we are going to, kind of watch our emotions get out of control. Our passions become a little bit too big. Our desires and impulses take over. And if we let too much emotion override our beautiful thought process, our ideas, our inspirations coming in, we can kind of, snuff those ideas out altogether, burn ourselves out in our heart space and in our head space. We don't want to do that. We want to strive for balance in everything that we do. And the balancing point here is to recognize where we have impulses, where new passions and happiness and desires are coming up in our heart space, and to actively pursue the logical, practical way of going about strategizing what it is that we need to do to actually bring them to life. The god of war, Mars, being in this intellectual battlefield, this, airy space of ideas and collaboration and information and inspiration coming in. We are definitely thinking big. We are thinking grand. We are in alignment with our heart space, and some beautiful ideas can come out of this when we actually put the blinders on, listen to what's coming up in our inner realm of our heart space, energies and apply the logic and practicality from our mental realm to make things happen.